Yeah. Patrick Surtain with the 10th overall pick. If the Dallas Cowboys select Patrick Surtain, he may be the solid pick out there. He may be just that guy that we can look back and say to ourselves, okay, Patrick Surtain. Pro day was outstanding. Great numbers. Ran a 4.46 40. Did pretty good in all of the other drills or what have you. Bench press 225. 18 reps. Not bad at all. Patrick Surtain Jr. Football pedigree. And if he's there with the 10th overall draft pick, I think that will be the safest pick. And we can contextualize it as one. You got Amari Cooper on this team, right? Who's Alabama, right? Right? And then, I don't know if Savion Smith is still on this team, but you had a Savion Smith. Oh, I forgot. You got Diggs on this team. Trayvon Diggs. Continuity, rapport, and all of that good stuff. Although, my CB1 or DB1 is J.C. Horn. And although the guy that I really like also is J.C. Jackson, who's already in the league or what have you. And it's one of those things where we can say to ourselves, we need help, right? We need help in the secondary. And who knows? Reggie Robinson could be one of those guys too. Reggie Robinson, if granted or given the opportunity, could be one of those guys that can elevate this thing, right? But we don't know anything about Reggie Robinson due to the simple fact that the Dallas Cowboys didn't give the brother a chance or a situation to prove himself, right? So we have to sit back and say to ourselves, all right, let's see how this thing all play out. If you team defense, put down in the chat, TD. If you team offense, put down in the chat, TO. And if you're like me, BPA, put BPA down in the chat too. But you can go either way, right? BPA, TO, or TD, however you want to go with it. And if you like Surtain, let me know. Post it down below too. Because now it's one of those situations whereas we got to look at it like this. On one end, you got J.C. Horn, right? On the other end, you got Pat Surtain. And in the middle, you got maybe a Caleb Farley, right? He's in the middle of everything. We don't see him play press, right? We don't see him, and the news that was out there that was reported by 105.3 very on, Brian Broaddus, shout out to the Brian Broadduses of the world, right? He said that, hey, he's hearing reports that Caleb Farley don't have the mental capacity, that he plays purely on instincts, right? And then we already know this right here, Cowboy Nation. Even J.C. Horn, who got football pedigree, football background, football this and football that, just like Patrick Surtain. I can only imagine. Y'all post this down too. I want to know your thoughts. If you pick up J.C. Horn and you put him on the Alabama squad, would he be in the tracks of top 10 draft picks? Would he be in that same groove? Will he be in that same conversational piece, right? Right? We got to look at this thing truly and say to ourselves, what are we building? I can only imagine. Patrick Surtain, Diggs on one side, Donovan Wilson. There could be, Malik Hooker. Man, if I can just have a situation where we can remove health. So, thinking about this Patrick Surtain and how he will be able to fit with this particular team, it could be a situation whereas Now we got a guy on the tape, he don't display a lot of speed, but I think that this pro day helped him out tremendously. Looking at what he did in the weight room, as far as those 18 reps, and look at what he did also with that 40 time, and look at what he did with some of those drills, flipping of the hips. They showed some fluidity in those hips, feet striking on the ground, getting up off of his stance, change of direction was there, hand placement and these sort of things. And also, with that being said, Cowboy Nation, within the confines of the Alabama system, he may not have had a lot of interceptions, but looking back at his stats, he had 12 bat downs, right? So my thing is that counts a lot too. And one thing that really showcased this right here, Cowboy Nation, is when we think about a DB, a defensive back, and we also think about Joe Witt Jr., who also worked with Charles Woodson, who also worked with Casey Hayward and all of those boys, right? And also always had like good DBs that goes through his little training situation. And then we got my dog down here and Clay Mack. Man, Clay Mack is one of those guys that when we think about, and he's not working within the confines of Dallas Cowboys, but he's one of those guys that they like to go to because he's in his area. You got all of those pieces together. And I'm talking about resources that you can utilize, resources that you can say to yourself, these are the things that we can use. These are the things that we can see. So, as I eat my gummy bears, I can tell you guys right now, the safest pick the Dallas Cowboys can go out there and do is grab either Patrick Surtain or a J.C. Horn. And it could be a strange world that we living in that we can get both of them. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Oh, Lord, you don't need to get that. Now, that's overkill. But no. It's a crazy world that we live in. But we've seen some stuff like this happen before. When a player drop or when a player do this and a player do that. And if you go on by the player, best player available, BPA all day, it could be something like that. Or solid is solid. And I'm going to keep it real with you guys. Whether it be a Surtain or whether it be a J.C. Horn who's already buying land in the Frisco area, looking at houses in Frisco. Somebody telling him something. And maybe it's just him just want to make a pure investigations of the area and say, okay, let me just make some investments over here after I investigated what all is happening over here in Frisco land. Let me go ahead and just move my money around real good, right? It could be that situation. But I've come here to tell you guys that if the Dallas Cowboys decide to get this thing going the best way possible on this defense, it's over. And I know you guys can't wait to see this thing all jump off and pop off. So post me your thoughts down below on this kid, Patrick Surtain, and see how this thing can all work its way out. Shout out to everybody, man. I really appreciate you guys. Let me know down below how you guys feel. And my dog Trayvon Moridge, he ran a 4.5. He didn't do that good on his vertical, but hey, it's still a possibility that you can get a Patrick Surtain and Moridge in a second. Let that sink in. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Y'all let me know who we should draft with the 10th overall draft pick. Y'all let me know. Put it down in the comment box. Let's go. Peace.